The people in the community are the people in the community. And you have professionals, working with the World Bank that are doing this. You go into a community and you identify the people in the community who are the people in the community. It's not a complicated process at all. And like I said, it's open. You make the list open in those communities for people who have observations or even who have objections. This is a program that is for all Nigerians. It has no political coloration of any kind.
Is this just another campaign promise, or is this going to be something that will be institutionalized?
Well, when you say just another campaign promise, I don't know what you have in mind. Yes, it is a campaign promise that is being fulfilled. And we've also made a point that it's not going to be a one-off program. And as you know, in the 2017 budget estimate, the president has proposed again another 500 billion naira to be spent on the whole gamut of the social investment program. So we intend to continue to do this as much as we can, because the problems that we're trying to deal with, they are real problems, and this president believes that it's important for us to begin to spend the resources of Nigeria on the people of Nigeria, and in a very direct and very impactful way. So yes, we intend to do this for as long as we can do it, for as long as we need to do it, to touch the lives of people, to bring the resources of this country down to the people right at the grassroots who have never had any kind of opportunity to this kind of social safety net. It's the first time in Nigeria's history that you're having this well-coordinated social safety net program.
When you say it's going to continue, when I asked the question about institutionalizing it, I like the fact that you say it's going to continue. But is this how you'll continue to identify those that should benefit from this? I mean, in other clients, they have what they call the welfare package, but for everyone to even benefit, every citizen is entitled to benefit from it because they all have a form of identification. Are you doing a data collection program that will help you identify these people as you go forward? Is it that after this administration, this ends as well?
Of course, we are collecting the data. Each of the beneficiaries, whose name has come on the social register, we have a BVN. All those that are being paid now, they have a BVN. We have focal persons in the state. You'll be also helping the verification. We have the banks, where the money will be paid to, also working with us to ensure that this is properly done. So yes, we do have the data. Everybody is on biometric. We know exactly who it is. It's a transparent process. Like I said, it's open. People can review it. So yes, we're collecting data, and we're collecting, scientific data. This is something that has been thoroughly thought through, and that is being implemented with all diligence, to into that the beneficiaries are carefully selected, and the monies go directly, into the accounts.
Okay, when you say, I was going to ask about the e-transfer, whether it's going to be e-transfer, so it hits them directly. But you said, the most vulnerable. One who is wealthy, appears wealthy today, could become most vulnerable 2 hours from that point you thought he was vulnerable. So how would you continue to identify the most vulnerable? And who determines the most vulnerable?
Well, I've answered that question, that there's a community-based targeting. The communities themselves, in a very free atmosphere, and these are small communities. They are the ones that identify the people that are considered poor, the poorest and vulnerable. And in most cases, this is not something that is difficult to figure out when you go to the communities. So it's something that, yes, it's going to continue. We hope to take it all around the country. Even though we are starting with 9 states right now, we have already sets of states that are also going to be starting the community-based targeting. We have Delta, Jigawa, Adamawa, Anambra, Borno, Enugu, Kaduna, Taraba. and several other states, I don't have the complete list, that are getting ready to also start the community-based targeting, and we have started to mobilize the community to do this. So, I mean, this is something that is being done with the best of our own experts in this country, and also working with the World Bank that designed the model in the first instance.
So you said community-based. I knew you said about the community-based targeting, but the question is, because the question Sila asked you was, how do you know in my community, in his community, for instance, that the person that you say is most vulnerable? Because there could be a bias in that community against one person or the other person, because for political leanings or for religious leanings or for ethnic leanings. So what's the guarantee that people will not lose out?
That's what I'm saying, that there's also a review process, so that if there is a selection and it's made known in that community, everybody knows what it's all about, and somebody feels that something has not been done properly, somebody that was determined to be vulnerable is not so, and they come up with evidence, you bring the evidence to the person, you check it out, and you make a determination, what the real situation is. It's not so much difficult or complicated as you imagine.
Well, you know that there has been, some criticisms about this program. First of all, a lot of people would say it has come late. This promise was made before the APC government took over, and they took over in May 2015, where this has just been implemented in 2017. It is not all over the country. You just confirmed now that 9 states were earmarked as pilot states, and even in those 9, only 3 have received their monies so far.
As of last week.
As of last week. So in some ways, they say that this is coming late. And there was also flack from the National Assembly. It didn't seem that you were expecting that, it was going to come this late as well, because provisions were made for this in the 2016 budget, but it would seem that very little of that money was spent. And so we saw from the senior special advisor to the president on the program, Mrs. Uwais, and it would seem that, there was some lack of preparedness in implementing this program from the start.
Well, if you say that it's starting late, in the sense that we had hoped that it will start much earlier, well, I'll say, better late than never, and we've started now. Now, 2 important things are critical. Number one, we needed to ensure that this is done diligently, this is done right, and quite a lot of things had to be, a lot of T's had to be crossed, a lot of I's had to be dotted, and we were not going to compromise that. Secondly,
what were some of these T's and I's, Mr. Conde? I'd like to take you up on that, because you already said that there was a social register that the World Bank was working on along with certain states, and it's those states that you started with. One would have assumed that because the World Bank was already working with those states, it should have been a lot easier.
It's it's in one of our languages, they say that it is easier to use your mouth to make the vegetable. Look, this is serious work, and even look at the kinds of questions that is being asked. Well, how did you pick people? How did you do that? So you have to give yourself enough time to ensure that what needed to be done is done properly. It's a process that you work with community group, with focus groups. You have to sit people down. You have to open it up to criticism and all kinds of stuff. So it's not something that can be rushed. But more importantly, we all know also that some of our revenue estimates in the 2016 budget did not pan out, for obvious reasons. Beside the fact that we have the oil was not making the returns that it used to make, but more generally, or more specifically, what happened in the Niger Delta with the blowing up of oil pipelines.
So are you insinuating that the reason...
At the point, it's important to remind ourselves at the point we are losing 1 million barrels per day in production.
Are you insinuating that the program did not start because there was a paucity of funds?
Partly.